So the first video I actually posted was wrong. Did the wrong thing. Oh well. So here is the quiz you took in class, and it's the right piece of paper. That's important. So the opposite, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and isolate this x. The opposite of subtraction is addition. That'll give me 6x is 16. I'm going to divide by my 6. And 16 and 6 are both even. That's 8/3. On the second one, I'm going to invoke what's called the distributive property. Through multiplication, I'm going to distribute this 2 to the interior of the parentheses. 2 times 4x is 8x, 2 times 2 is minus 4. And now it's as simple as the first problem. I'm going to add 4 to both sides. 8x is 16, divide by 8, and x is 2. Most kids had that when I walked around the room. Number 3, when you were taught this in Algebra 1 and when you did them in geometry, you're going to get your x's on one side and your numbers on the other. I'm actually going to put my x's on the right-hand side and my numbers on the left because I like to keep x positive. And you'll notice I'm changing signs on the stuff that's jumping from left to right and vice versa. -9 plus 17 should be 8. And 9x minus 5x is 4x, and again, x is 2. Those both had the same answer. The fractional one, number 4, do this easy step. Instead of adding 5, take it away from the right. That'll give me a 3. So 2/3 x is now a 3. What I suggest you do on things with fractions is a 2-step approach to it. Instead of doing anything old that you heard of, like multiplying by the reciprocal or whatever, counteract the division through multiplication. If you do it to the left, you do it to the right. So the 3's cancel on the left, so 2x is now 9, and then divide by 2. 9/2, final answer. This is called the distributive property. 3x times 4x is 12x to the second. 3x times -2 minus 6x. This would be the double distributive property. X times x is x to the second. X times a -5 minus 5x. And I'm done with that x. I distribute it to both terms in the second set. Now I'm going to distribute the 4. 4 times x plus 4x. 4 times -5 minus 20. These two terms, if you do the double distributive property in the correct order, will always get added together. And that becomes minus an x, because -5 plus 4 is -1, and then minus 20. There's your answer on that one. Number 7, still the double distributive property. 2x times 3x is 6x to the second. 2x times -2 minus 4x. And I'm done with my 2x. Inside now, -2 times 3x minus a 6x. -2 times -2 plus a 4. Combine like terms like I did on the previous example. 6x squared minus 8x plus 4. If I'm going too fast for you for some reason, that's because it's quitting time. And you have access to a pause button. All right, function notation. Function notation messes with so many kids' heads. I don't know why. F of 4 literally means let x equal 4. So everywhere I see an x, it's a 4. So this is 5 times 4 minus a 4, which is 16. Because 5 times 4 is 20. F of -2 means let x be -2. So this becomes 5 times a -2 minus a 4, which is negative, what, 14? Seems legit. 10 is under the section average rate of change, but this one's about slope. Miss Buckley, and probably your 7th grade teacher, would have taught you that slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which you get from these points. They give you your x1s and y1s and your x2s and your y2, and you just plug in. This would be 12 minus 7 over 5 minus a -5. Everybody knows that taking away negative is addition. This becomes 5 over 10 if you do the math, which is a half, because 5 and 10 are both divisible by 5. Bonus section, which a lot of kids won't try, which bugs me. Like this little bonus question right here. By the time you hit basics 3, it's a quiz question. So you need to figure it out. Given f of x is x to the second minus 6, find the average rate of change over the interval from -1 to 2. There's a formula for average rate of change, and it is f of b minus f of a, sitting pretty over b minus a. So you see the function notation, which means you have to know how to do 8 and 9. Average rate of change is a standard in Algebra 1. I don't know that you use this formula, though. I don't. And notice this mention of f of b and f of a. You get that over here. There's your a and there's your b. So the first thing I'm going to do is find f of b, which actually means to find f of 2. I do that by putting a 2 right there. 2 squared minus 6. That would be -2 when you crank out the math. I also need f of a, which is to find f of -1. When you're working with negatives, they need to be wrapped in parentheses. That's a -1 all squared minus a 6, and this ends up being -5. So where I see f of b, I get to be that -2. Where I see f of a, I get to be a -5. And then I have b minus a, 2 minus a -1. This will give me 3 over 3, which is 1. Bonus 2, solve for x. This is actually called the zero product property. You should Google that if you don't know what it is. You were taught to take some object and cover up a set of parentheses. So now it says 4x plus 8 is 0. Or if I cover up that set of parentheses, 3x minus 5 is 0. The zero product property states that if the product of two quantities is 0, then one or both must be 0. These are two-step equations. 4x is -8, x is -2, 3x is 5, and x is 5/3. And the last bonus is factoring. This is the reverse of question number 7. The numbers are different, but it's the reverse of the double distributive property. So in number 7, we use the double distributive property. In bonus 3, we're going to work it out the other way around. It's going to take a 5x and an x to create 5x to the second. Think about that up here. I did 2x times 3x and got 6x squared. Factors of 6 are going to be 2 and 3. Now, I have to make sure that when I do the math that I add to -13. So I'm going to do some little math here. When I link those two terms together, I get 2x. And when I link these two terms together through the distributive property, I get 15x. I want a negative. I need this to be negative. The reason I want this to be negative is because -15x plus 2x is -13x. And there is bonus 3. Sorry, I put the wrong video up. It's a bad thing to do on the first day. It happens.